Hello everyone, I'm Dr. S. Manasa, Assistant Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So I'm going to talk about the gender equity and gender 20 equity. So what are the contents today we are going to discuss are why does this gender inequality exist actually, and gender equity barriers. What are the barriers that are not allowing the gender equity to happen, and how to attain the gender equity, and gender equity and religious paradigms, and why just only females are marginalized, and what are the pathways which are there towards the sustainable gender equity achievement, and why specifically gender equity is there against a specific gender. So let us all discuss all these topics today. So coming to the definition, what is gender equity actually? So this has come from the equity means we know that it is equal. So according to the Oxford Dictionary, the word equity means that fairness. There is no uh, partiality, or it should be equal to everyone, or righteousness. It should be a truthful or justness. So justicefully or truthfully or fair, it should be not be discriminated or partial towards any particular gender or the people. It should be fair. So what does the gender equity means then? This gender equity means whatever the fairness or the righteousness in the distribution of benefits as well as the responsibilities between two genders, regardless of any gender discrimination, either it can be man or woman. So even the benefits should be given equally, and the responsibilities to be taken equally, and they have to treated equally regardless of their gender. So that is about the gender equity. Then what are the movements that have been taken place for making the country or the world to get the gender equity? So the first one is Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So this is UDHR. So that is given in the year 1949. So when these Universal Declaration of Human Rights have been developed, from that time onwards, the people started developing about the achievement of the equality, gender equality, and to eliminate the discrimination. So, and the next one is CEDAW, that is Convention on the Elimination of All Other Forms of Discrimination Against Women. So this CEDAW says what any kind of the elimination means any kind of discrimination, if it is there towards a particular gender, that has to be removed. So for that there has been a some the set of rules have been proposed, that is given by the CEDAW. And the next one is GAD, that is nothing but the gender and development model. So gender and development model, so how to develop or how to propose the rules for each gender so that there cannot be any discrimination. One has to take about others or look about others in which manner and how they has to be treated. So particular gender, so for that sake, if the male gender, they have their own roles, and how they are the way they look at the other gender, and what are the norms and conditions, or the limitations till which the particular gender can extend on the other gender. And the another one is United Nations Gender Mainstreaming Policy and Strategy, which has been developed in to year 2006. So these are the movements that have been um, taken forward for achieving a gender equity in all the nations. That is nothing but the worldwide achievement. Why do this gender inequalities exist? So to achieve the gender equality, what should be there? There should not be any inequalities. So if you want to achieve the gender equality, so first you have to look at what are the inequalities that are existing. So in order to stop those inequalities, means there should not be any gender inequality. So in order to stop that, you should know what are the inequalities that are existing first. So let us talk about what are those inequalities, from where they are arriving, and what is the cause, or what is its effect on the achieving the equality. So what are the major affecting factors for not achieving the gender equality. So let us talk about the factors that will affect, the key roles, or what we say, the specific parts, which are the main taking place, main role in the gender discrimination that is happening. So gender inequalities exist because of what? Gender discrimination in the either family or society, culture, as well as religious norms, or can be due to the societal institutions as well as the biological views. So all these can be the factors which will cause gender discrimination or the inequality. So we have to look over how to eradicate. So eradication of these inequalities from each of these. How do you can minimize or reduce, from either starting from the family or in the society or in the culture, or due to the religious customs, or the the surroundings. It can be the mass media, or the people, or the social media, or how society is looking at you. All these factors can include. And so what are the barriers, or the the stopping curtains which are not allowing the equality to occur? So the next comes is what? Gender equity barriers. So what are those barriers? So can be first, patriarchal societies. So patriarchal societies is like the father dominated or the male dominated society, that they will think that, like for example, um, it's like a family. The family members want only the boy baby to have, or the this see, they will consider only when the boy baby has born, then only this their ancestors feel that their generation is going to continue, but they won't think that with the having girl baby their generation is not extending. So this type of the mental attitude that is present in all the countries, or the all the places, up to the all people, that has to be changed first. So this is going to be the main barrier. And the second one is the poverty. So because of poverty also, these gender inequality is happening. And next one is women, who are largely related to the vulnerable of employment, hence disturbing the gender equilibrium. So what is happening? The concept, or the thoughts that people have in the mind towards the woman, has to be changed first. So they think women in a the different manner. So that is again causing the respect loss to the women, and then it is not like they are treated less. And everywhere this kind of always the when the equality comes, always the women are treated less in the workplace. And the next one is violence against the women, which is continue to undermine the efforts to reach all goals of gender equity. So this violence is again being the factor. So these are all causing some of the other ways are affecting the equality, the to not to achieve. So the gender equality is not happening because of all these factors. So it can be unequal distribution of opportunity and education. So this is going to be the main one. So opportunities, if it is available, it is given differently for men as well as women. Or education also, we all know that most of the women are limited to the particular level of education and they are not allowed to go further, or they get married at a very tender ages. So this is going to be again the stoppage curtain for the not achieving the equality, and having lesser social benefits for a specific gender. For example, for females, so they don't have all the allowances that which are given to the men. So these are going to be the gender equity barriers. Then how to attain that? How to achieve the gender equality? So by achieving equitable access to all these, what are those? Adequate food and basic needs to increase their personal security. First of the all the people present in the country or the nation, they have to be um, taken care that everyone gets food first and they have the minimal basic needs to be given, so that you are in turn reducing the poverty. So that is main uh, first foremost step to have the gender equality. And the next comes balance in the sustainable development as well as decision making. So there should be the equal chance or the equal opportunity to be given for the both. So for a development of any particular thing, organization or the country, or it can be anything at home also, so the decision can be both together, then that gives a good result. And by creating equal economic opportunities, so men and women should be given equal opportunities. So there should be equal opportunity to take what are the resources that are available. So the equitable access to the resources which are available, and as well as by controlling the gender blind policies that we do at maybe from the ancestors or from the community or from the society, or can be from the family. The blindly we fix that this is not for girl, this is for boy, or this boy should not do, this is only girl can be done. So that kind of blind policies we have to first remove, then only it is like everyone can do anything. Then that kind of attitude should come in the every person, so that the equity starts from the all people. So by changing the power structure between women and men, as well as in the ideologies, institutions that preserve, reproduce the gender inequality. So all these are the factors or the steps that can be taken to reduce the gender discrimination, or to achieve the gender equality. So gender equity and religious, sorry here, gender equity and religious paradigms. So what are those? So can be religion, it bets can act as a significant counterweight to support homogeneous institutions of the state, market, society, as well as the culture to perpetuate any ideology regarding the gender discrimination and the gender equity. So, the gender equity, how it can come? So, how the discrimination can stop is like you start delivering some messages from all the sources. So that can be from either the religion. So first one is what? The religion. So religion is what? It is a the significant factor that every community people or the set of group of people believe in that, they have beliefs and they do follow those rules. So from the religious places or the religious people should start spreading the news about the gender equity or not to have the gender discrimination. So the achievement should start from there. Okay, and let us see why just only females are marginalized. So this is one of the main factor because of this inequality is happening. So the emphasis within the rights frameworks play on the protection of individuals rather than the group rights. But though throughout of the history, due to the patriarchal setups of the society, the issue of gender inequality highlights the limitations of rights and the marginalization of females rather than uh, males. So what it is happening because of we have a boundary where we live in a custom or the community, like this girls do this one and this girls do this one. So we in the now in the present generation that we teach to our children, saying that so this you have to do as per our religious, this is this, or can be as per our family tradition, this can be this, only girls can do this. So our family will not allow the girls to get educated about this certain age factor. For example, say after 20 years, or like people start saying like as per our ancestors tradition, our girls child should get married around 20 to 22 age years, or they are not allowed for the higher education, or some community factors may affect saying that in this place we won't allow children to get go for the higher education if girl child is there, or we will not allow the girl child to go for the workplace. So that kind of ancestral community and society, all the things that have set the boundary already before the child birth has been happened. So what you do, you always follow those traditions, and you have that limitations bonded already. So there what is happening, these limitations are for the females, that is they are marginalized, they are not allowed to do the other work and they don't have rights, and they say that they are not allowed to go individually and they cannot take the individual decisions. So this kind of the un removable traditions have been happening over the generations, which is stopping the males female gender to strict at that particular rules. So, what are the pathways towards the sustainable gender equity that can be either? First of all, we should have the physical security and eradication of gender based violence, and a guaranteed legal identity. You should have a legal identity, first of all, and enabling access and control over the all the resources equally, and providing access to the decent work and a livelihood. So first of all, provide good access, opportunities, resource for their livelihood and decent work, and ensuring the access to the public services. So these all can be the positive put up are the pathways for achieving the sustainable gender equity, and it can be guaranteeing access to the information and facilitating first access is okay, and again you facilitate that access to the information for all the genders, and facilitating to the access to the justice as well as and measuring social inclusions, access to the rights, and valuing the social cohesion as well as the diversity. So all these factors can be the pathways to achieve the gender equity. And what are the for or against gender equality? What are so long to have the gender equity? So the acceptance of continuum of audience and the listeners. So first of all is leaders who are committed to change will work hard first. So leaders should change and supporters who will help but not lead. So and the friends fence sitters who won't do anything to help or hinder. So they are like just sad. They won't support. And if supporters are there who will help but cannot lead, so leaders should be very strong, and they should be given certain rules and regulations for each particular place where they are leading, that they have to achieve some improvement in the gender equity. And skeptics which may be passively resist the change. So there are some people who will not accept the changes. The positive change they cannot accept. So these people have to be changed first. And there are resistors. So who what will do? They will actively work against the change. So some people like passively they don't directly involve, but they just simply don't accept the change. But there are resistors who do like they fight, like if the change has happened they won't allow, they don't want that change to happen. So they actively work to not to happen that change. So if all these are hurdles at all the stages, then how can you achieve the gender equity? So this should be changed first. The mindset should be changed, and there should be the community setups rules for achieving the gender equity. And what about this gender 20 equity? This gender 2020 equity has come in the meeting G20. So G20 creates a new working group on the empowerment of women, which is a pivotal step, towards the progress of women as well as the girls. So what this G20 has told is like you have to get the equity, and you have to empower women as well as the girls so as to get the both genders equal. So the members of G20 meeting in the India during 9th and 10th September 2023 reaffirmed their commitment to the empowerment of women as well as the girls with specific commitments. What are those are to increase the labor force participation, access to the quality education, and halving the digital gender gap by 2030. So the target has been given like 2030. By year of 2030, the gender equity gap not more than the half, means not more than 50%. So you have to achieve the gender equity by this target 2030 year. And supporting gender responsive, age responsive nutrition as well as the food system intervention. So mainly concentrate on the food and nutrition of the child as well as the female gender, and eliminating gender biased violence. So all these commitments have been given by the G20 meeting that has been taken in the year of 2023, 9th to 10th September. So the hence this is given gender 20 equity. So this G20 plans to create a new working group on the empowerment of women who support countries as they continue to address the gender inequality across the spectrum. So what this to do is they set up some group of uh, supporters. So who will collect the information. So what is the level of inequality across the globe, and what can be the further achievement that we can take. So the idea is that it will support the G20 Women's Ministerial and convene its first meeting under the upcoming G20, which is going to be held in the Brazil in the year 2024. So first of all, it has to collect now, and the next support is like they will support the women. So what way they have to be developed furthermore, so that can be addressed in the G20 meeting that is going to be held in Brazil in 2024. So the G20 meeting is the motto of G20 meeting that has happened was gender equity is of fundamental importance, and that investing in the empowerment of all the women as well as girls, it has a multiplier effect in the implementing by 2030 sustainable development agenda. So by 2030 you have to achieve at least the gender equal inequality must not be more than 50%. So this is the agenda of the G20 meeting. And what are the challenges? Main obstacles which are not allowing for achieving the gender equality are accessing the basic health care of the women or the children and adolescents have been extravagated by the increasing number of conflicts that are taking place around the world. And mainly this COVID-19 has been a very big factor which has changed complete country for the after the COVID, the cost of living has increased, and the climate aspects also. It was like not so tuned. So all these crises are disproportionately impacting on the women and girls. Whether it will be through increased likelihood of experience gender based violence. So what is happening? So these all the factors are again indirectly affecting on the women, and there is gender based violence happening. So for that sake, the maternal health care, lack of access to the menstrual hygiene and management, rolling back gains. So that has made women's girls' health is not being so good. So these are the main factors that have to be taken. And in 2023 global gender gap index reports that no country has been fully achieved the gender parity yet, and 800 women still die daily due to pregnancy or childbirth complications, and 130 millions of the girls are out of the school, and 1 in 3 women experiences the gender based violence. So this is all happening. So this gender gap index report that has been told in G20 meeting is saying this information. And what can be the four sides of the G20 meeting? So that prioritize the sustained and enhanced funding of the health of the human children as well as the adolescents. So mainly it is concentrated about what? Health of the women, and adopt the multi-sectoral or holistic or system-based approaches to improve the good health outcomes of the women, children, adolescents, and also prioritize the investment on a robust data system for monitoring and implementation of policies and programs for women's, girls, and for their health as well as the well-being. So we have to invest some more money on that to achieve this the health wise distribution to the all the women over the globe. So to ensure that women and children and adolescents health as well as well-being is a recurring agenda item within G20 discussion. So the main motto of the G20 discussion was to have a good health. So take care of the health and well-being of our women, children, and adolescent people, and prioritize the meaningful engagement through the consultative efforts when making the policy decisions. So you have to meaningful engagement should be there in order to have the good policy decisions. So this is about the G20 meeting and gender equity. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.